There's an old saying that the road to hell is paved with people with the sidewalk in that road. Alright. That's what moves you down that hill. That's what takes you down to that road of destruction.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, Gary Spikes. Nice to have you there, Val. Nice to see everybody starting to stack in. New face. Awesome. Yes. Standing Stones. And Twisted Witch. So, everybody's starting to stack in on this Monday evening. So, I didn't think we was going to have a show at all. But it pulled through. Hello, Cindy. Welcome there. So, how you doing there, Angela?
I'm okay. How are you there? How are you doing?
Thank you. So, how was your weekend? Hello, Roger. Welcome everybody to the show.
Everything. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Can't complain like always. So, yeah. So, what are we going to do tonight?
Well, do we have a guest tonight?
No, we do not.
Oh, we don't?
No. Nobody's here.
Peter said that we had a guest.
Yeah. That's why we were late. I didn't see anybody in the room, and I went live when you came on. Hello, Lala. Thank you very much, Lala. Thank you.
Okay, hold on.
Somebody just popped in named Teresa. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're live.
Awesome, good. Sorry about that. I was, my phone, I went to log in through the link that Peter Marks provided me, but I was not able to get my camera working. So I'm sorry, you can't see my face in the moment. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. Nice to have you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I own a metaphysical store named Zen Shine, where we do custom crystal jewelry, and I am an intuitive medium with both mediumship and psychic ability. And Peter asked me if I would like to be on the show, and I said yes.
Awesome. Nice to have you.
Where do you live, Teresa?
I live in New York.
Okay. What part of New York?
On Long Island.
Okay. And how do you know Peter?
Peter and I just met through a mutual friend named Ellen. She also is a gifted person. Her and I knew each other a few years back. We reconnected recently, and we have an event that's coming up that we're doing together on January 11th called the Age of Aquarius Dance Party. And yeah, it's really exciting. I feel super glad to have it. We're celebrating the new year, the new age of Aquarius, that we're in this very light-filled conscious time. There's a new moon. It's 1111. So it's just these layers, having all these heart-centered, very high vibrational people and friends come together and feel expansion, feel love, feel, a connection with other people. This person, has a band. They're looking for a drummer. Well, here's 6 people who also play drums. Maybe one of them's the fit,
Oh, wow. Sounds like fun.
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun. So how about you, Angela? How did you meet up with Peter?
Oh, I met him years ago. We had a mutual friend. I had a girlfriend and he had a male friend, and they just got married or they just started dating. So that's how I met Peter, and we've been together since. We've just been together since.
She's working on her camera right now. She bumped off.
Okay.
So, let's see. So how everybody's doing out there in the audience tonight? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Welcome. Another round of applause. Thank you, Standing Stones and Lala. Greatly appreciate that. Need a new pair of shoes. So, yes, awesome. Hello, Karen Clayton. Welcome. Sushi. Somebody's eating sushi, Angela.
Is that the name or somebody eating sushi?
No, Lala's eating sushi. So, rim shoes. I knew Eric was going to say that. I wasn't going to say it, but I should have.
What does rim shoes mean?
So I actually made up a word, rim balls. And I was trying to say rim pod. And he actually made a rim ball. And here she comes back.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. The shadow of Mercury retrograde is strong.
Honey, it's been feeling like Mercury retrograde for the last 3 weeks.
All right. I had my friend, him and I do different work together. He had his podcast this morning, and he's a spiritual DJ. So they were interviewing him about the music that they were playing, and that podcast had to restart 5 times. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than Mercury retrograde because, man, I just having problems all over the place. But anyway.
Actually, I have a question for you. I was able to create a new like login for StreamYard, but is there like a particular link, like because the picture that Peter sent me, it just shows as a picture as the link, but if there's like something that I could put into StreamYard, then I'll be able to jump on and you can see my face.
No, it's that link that I send out to everybody. You just click on it and put your name in there and voila.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. All right. I'm working on it. Anyway, how do you know Peter Grizzly?
Through Angela. So,
through me.
Yep.
And then how did you guys meet?
Through Jeanette. Grizzly and I had a mutual friend named Jeanette.
Oh, okay. Is she also into mediumship and psychic?
Yeah. She's a dowser. She's a dowser.
Oh, okay.
She's known for searching. You know, the dowsing rods and pendulums. She does that kind of a thing.
Understood. Okay. So what is your subject tonight?
You're our subject. We want Grizzly to get a reading from you because Grizzly's very, very gracious. Every time we have guests on, they work with the audience. They work with Peter and I, but we would like you to give Grizzly a nice reading.
Oh, okay, cool. I asked Peter what the topic was, and he said, we'll see what happens when we get on tonight. So I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, so we're actually showcasing you and your history and your background.
You're our guest.
Okay, I got you. So Grizzly, let's see. Okay. So normally there's like a couple different ways when I sit down to do a reading. The first thing that I do, and just give me a moment to get my bearings because I just found out what I was doing.
Sure, absolutely.
So whenever I begin a reading, I always want to start with, I call on the high self of the individual that I'm working with, which would be you, and ask for your high self to deliver messages, for my high self to receive them, and for a connection to be made that allows only the messages that are for your best and highest good to be done. With that being said, sometimes I'll get different pictures of different things. So it starts in different ways. So it could be crystals, it could be information that starts pouring through. And right now I'm just focused on the color blue that's coming up for you. So like if I were making like a custom piece for you, because I do that, I make custom crystal jewelry based on whatever it is that I intuitively feel off of people. And that sometimes is how I'll kickstart myself in other readings. There we go.
Sure.
So I feel like this lapis energy around you right now. So that's what I would be starting out with. Let's see. I'm just taking in your energy, seeing what comes through right now.
Okay.
I see like a lot of like a nature around you, almost like a house that's in the middle of nowhere, but it's not technically nowhere. It's this beautiful, like almost cabin looking with a lot of land around it, and taking in that environment. So I see, even though you have a wide circle of people to be friends with, you spend a majority of your time to yourself, and you get a lot of serenity in keeping company with yourself, and that you're very open instead of trying to mentally pick up on kind of like picking up on how things should go or dictating on how things should unfold. You actually have a very nice, serene way of being able to sit back and let the messages come into you and just get that inspiration. So not a forcefulness to it, but more of an allowing. So just a very allowing disposition, spending a lot of time to yourself, very relaxed. Also, that the way that you speak, you don't have to use a lot of words to get your point across or to share yourself, that you have concise words that are very impactful.
Okay.
That's true.
I keep feeling some kind of energy around with your mom. Almost like something to do with like family inheritance, or something that you've had to handle on her affair, or a let's see. I see you kind of like finalizing paperwork things for your mom. So that's why I was feeling like it's some kind of an inheritance, or like you taking care of things. And it's just as much as it's logistical, it has emotional ties into it. Obviously, it's your mom, but it's more like you appreciate being able to be that person who was taking care of everything. And like that was stuff that you had going on for a while, and that you've recently kind of come out with it. There's some kind of like cathartic release, especially in your chest area, where you're like, you're not carrying a weight anymore.
Interesting.
I'm not picking up a whole lot, so I'm not trying to force it.
Yes, I'm very private and closed.
But that's okay. Sometimes
Yes.
no news is good news. Do not in any
Yes.
type of trauma or stress.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, every reading is always different. Sometimes it just comes right out and it just oozes right off of people. And then other people, I don't know if it's the connection between you and them, it's their energy, it's your energy. I feel like as things kind of progress, you get like a glimpse or a knowing of different stuff.
Right.
Well, that
Absolutely.
was very good.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have a good voice. You have a very healing type sounding voice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you sound really sweet. So
Thank
that
you.
helps people.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Angela.
That'll help people gain confidence. You know, that's sweet. It's a sweet voice.
I don't feel like obviously there's a lot of people that you love that love you, but I don't feel like you're particularly close to people, including your family. There's like a pullback from you that I see you spending a lot of time with yourself, and that allows you to do more with what you're interested in.
So you're talking to me.
Oh no, I'm talking to Grizzly. I'm
Grizzly.
sorry.
Yes.
Is that true, Grizzly?
That is true.
I know that I'm the same way.
You are too?
Yeah, I think Grizzly has some very interesting hobbies, or he's looking at some very interesting information.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And that I think you do a lot on your own, don't you think, Grizzly?
Yes, I sure do.
But I like, you know how some people keep to themselves and it's kind of like a matter of life circumstances unfolded. This is more like a joy in solitude, and that you receive a lot of messages in your solitude, which is why you put almost, I don't want to call it a fortress, but like almost a big wall around yourself, because it's such an appreciation for having that time. And that's how you connect so much into spirit. So very in tune with nature. I see you traveling a lot, doing different things. This is actually my first time meeting either of you or hearing about the channel. Peter had kind of sprung it on me, but you know, I'm just picking, like, whatever it is that I'm picking up, I'm just spitballing it out there.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. And you are with nature. I mean, you will believe me,
Yes.
you're with nature.
Right.
When I think of Grizzly, I think of nature. Very good.
So did Peter give you any kind of prerequisite to what it was to work with me, or am I just coming in and introducing myself with you both?
No, you're right off the cut. So it's all about you.
Oh,
We
wow.
want to know about you, what you do, and how long you've been doing this, and tell us your backstory.
Yeah, how long have you been doing this?
So I was born as an intuitive. I didn't completely realize that as a child. And then as I started to get into being a teenager, I started to see things, and it was more like fearful for me. But there was also like these inward voices that I would hear that would let me know to do things. Talk to this person, don't talk to this person, stay out of that situation, get involved in this one. And I'd have this inner guiding system, but I'd have no idea that that was my intuition or who I was connecting with. I was just going with it. And then when I was about, I'd say 18 years old, I was working as a cook in a bar, and I had poured over books my whole life. I started working with crystals when I was 3. My aunt had them. I just always picked hers up, and she took me to my first crystal show when I was 5. And I had run across the room, found myself a rose quartz, connected to it. And it was kind of weird because I was a very well-behaved child. We walked into this huge room, and crystal fairs, the way that they were in 1992 are so different now, because this one had huge red velvet curtains, and you needed to pay your admission, and then there was one person in allowed at a time that they'd let you behind this big red curtain set, and you'd peel back the curtain, and it just was this huge vast room full of all these different tables. And you know, we first walk in and you have vendors that are from all over the world with all of these beautiful crystal pieces. And we get about to the middle, and instead of holding her hand and being right next to her, I see this rose quartz, and I just, it felt like a being. It felt like a presence. It was compelling. I had to go pick it up. I was so drawn to it. So I pick it up and I grab it, and I ask her if she could buy it for me. And she's very in tune with me at this point. So she's curious, like, why this one? So she picks up other rose quartz, and she's like, you sure you don't want this one? No, I don't want that one. Well, what about tiger eye amethyst and quartz? You really like those too? No, I don't want anything to do with those. I only want this one. And the woman who's there vending says, you know, the reason why your daughter only wants that one is because she can feel the vibration of the crystal, and she's a vibrational reader. She feels energy. So she's like, oh, well, she's not my daughter, but can you elaborate? And she said, well, some children are born with gifts, and their children in general are more open than adults. And some children have a heightened sense of picking up energy or vibration, and your niece is like that. So she said some parents don't acknowledge the gift and allow it to flourish, and therefore the gift falls away. And some parents don't even want their child to be gifted in that way, so they don't want that interaction. I was very lucky in that my aunt was supportive. We were able to take that rose quartz home, and then my aunt came home, told my mom about it, and my mom said, if you're good, every Friday you'll get a crystal. So I got hundreds of crystals all over my room a year later. And I've been working with crystals my whole life ever since, and just meditating with them, reading about them. I was reading about metaphysical properties, as soon as I learned how to read books, which led to astrology, Reiki, religious theology, and it just kept manifesting. And then, so now fast forward, I'm 18 years old, and palm reading was one of those subjects I did a lot of reading about. I had met this girl, and she was talking about wanting to go to a professional palm reader and get her palm read. And I said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I've got it. So I begin to read her palm, and this elderly woman shows up, and she said, it was like she punched me in the face 3 times fast. Pop, pop, pop. And I was like, I don't know what just happened. There's an old lady, there's a pink bicycle, there's the girl who's standing in front of me who fell off this bike. She ran to her grandmother, she made her cherry pie, and then I see her and her grandmother forging this bond, and her grandmother just wants me to tell her that she loves her. It has never happened before. I have no idea. I'm having the most anxiety ever, because the energy of getting hit in the face really did feel like I got hit in the face. And it was when I was thinking about if I should say it or where it was coming from, it was almost like the spirit of her grandmother didn't want me to think about it. She just wanted me to say it. So when I was thinking, I'm like, what is this? Where is it coming from? She's like, say it, say it, say it, say it. I was like, oh my God, this is the pushiest spirit I've ever interacted with. So I said, listen, I don't know where this is coming from, and I'm just going to say it. And I'm questioning myself. My ego's completely invested. I don't know if the information's accurate or not. I have no idea where it came from, but this very pushy spirit is encouraging me to give her the message. So I say, listen, when you were little, I see you about 5 years old. You have this pink bike, purple and pink streamers, pink helmet. And I see you riding down the block. You fell off your bike, and I see you running home, but your parents were at work, and your grandmother was there to take care of you. And when you fell off your bike, your grandmother made a cherry pie, which was like her signature thing. And every time you felt sad, you and her would have cherry pie together. She would make cherry pie, or you'd go out to a diner and get cherry pie together. And she just wants you to know that she loves you and how much you mean to her. This girl started sobbing. Her grandmother had just passed away. She was so close. Everything from the bike to the cherry pie was accurate. I have chills. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, what line is that? How do you know that? I'm like, I have no idea what line it is. I have no idea how it happened, but it did happen. And I need to go back to work and contemplate what just happened to me in my life.
Wow.
So that was like even though the intuition was always there, that was my biggest introduction into you're gonna channel, you're going to read, and the spirit coming to me, and apparently knowing that I could get it across or would get it across. But it took a lot of if that spirit was not so forceful, I definitely would not have given that message. And then it became like a journey, a curiosity, how far does this go? How do I know that? Or how did I do that? How can I do it again for myself? And it became me trying to understand with tarot cards or messages. And it was still like, I would meet people and I go, oh, wow, your grandmother's name is Eloise. I know that's a weird name, but what she wants you to know, and it wasn't consistent at that point where messages came through. It was drips and drabs as I was learning kind of how to navigate it, and every time it happened, I would go, well, what were the circumstances of that? Was it a spirit? Was it me? Like, how did I actually know that? And it was a lot of not knowing until I started to say, you know what? I don't know how I know. I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to allow. And it was like I was being given the ability gradually from the other side, from that non-physical side. And now it has taken off significantly. And a lot of that comes through in my crystal work. I just did a live yesterday with one of my friends, and I said, you know, when I was curious and exploring my abilities or my ability to communicate, or when I was shy, I couldn't always communicate the way that I wanted to or say what I was feeling, but I was always able to communicate through the crystals that I was using. And now with all that being said, a lot of times what winds up happening is I have an individual sit down in front of me, and I still, you know, okay, you want to make a custom piece, tell me about your life, tell me where you're at. And they would give me some information, but then all of a sudden, all the messages start coming through. That's why I said for you, Peter, it's like sometimes if I think about what I would make you, then the messages start pouring in, like, oh, aventurine, new beginnings, you know, the ending of something and the beginning of something new for you. You thinking about the new that you'd like to start, because this podcast and things that you are doing, I don't see you doing anything like written work. I see a lot of it is voice work, and I think that's why that lapis came through earlier. But it's also about like pushing yourself past a shell and being able to like speak in more places, speak with more people, and just you have plenty of confidence. But what I feel is that you're more of an observing person, and you've just kind of come to the conclusion that you're going to put yourself out there more and deciding where you're going to.
She's right.
Do you work out west at all, like California or
Not yet.
Washington? I see there's like a pull that's going out west. I don't see you moving out that way, but I see you traveling out that way. And you may spend a decent amount of time in those different states. Because what I can feel and I can smell the desert for you. And it's like, it would be among your first time being in these places that you'd be traveling out to, but almost like a new layer of you comes to the surface by being in these new places. And it's like where the energy is communicating. So like the way that I'm feeling or seeing this energy, I'd be giving you pops of orange, like a deep rich orange agate if I were making you a piece, because it's like the grounding for you to follow that guidance out there. But it's like I can smell that desert sage, I could smell like the sand in the desert, and it's like an expo, like starting out with like an expo and meeting new people, and then slowly but surely making your way out there and finding yourself doing things that you've never done before. But it requires a whole new group of people. So for you to take on this new endeavor of how you want to communicate, because it's like this project has had, even though you explore so many different subjects, it's almost like it runs a straight line. And everything has kind of braided together and it's one type of energy, but you're looking for a different type of energy to express an alternative side to you. So this kind of jump to the west and meeting different people, it will take you nationwide, but the jump to the west that I'm hearing is you have to meet new people. You have to get out of that shell. You have to be willing to let yourself be put out there. And when you get with these new people, it's going to be foreign to you because you're not used to it. And it's a lot of different energy, and you're used to a very calm energy. But you have, there's a strong desire in you, because you're saying to yourself, like, there's more than this. There's more than what I'm doing. And what I'd like to, it's almost like a playful energy from out there, from out west. Some really creative endeavor that, it's like it's not, I wouldn't say that it's a part of you that you kept hidden. It's more of like a part of you that's only very recently come to the surface, and you're exploring it, but it has like a kind of contagious, playful energy that's to it. So I would look at things that are going on out west and just start changing things up, because you're used to being in this like eastern vicinity, you know, and I see like New Hampshire is prominent for you, Vermont, upstate, having these like colder northeastern places, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. These places have like pings for me that I see you being comfortable in that environment. But going out west and dealing with a lot more people and different energy, they have a lot more to expose you to. And it gives you like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we did a show or we had this? But it's almost like I see a plan. And this show just was like kind of freelanced in a way of, we're going to have these people come on, we're going to talk about things. And this is kind of loose, but I see you actually creating something. That's why I said it's not a book. It's more like you have an interest in something and you'd like to know more about it. So you start going to the people who can teach you about it. And then you come back and bring that collected information to an audience and say, well, I've gone out west and here's what I have to say, or here's what I've learned. And, you know, episode 1, 2, 3, 4 is just, okay, we're here with this person in this state, knew this. And then, it's like something that you're passionate about or something that has evolved for you, that now you're taking the steps to go put yourself out and research. Part research, part experience. Yeah, but it's going to be a more social year for you than ever before, which is going to be new for you, but it'll be fun.
Oh, right. I love it.
Cool.
That's good.
Yeah, very good.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell. A lot of people sell crystals based on metaphysical properties, and even though they're valid, I feel like I've had so much experience with crystals where the energy precedes the metaphysical property in a way that I've seen crystals blow up on, say, Instagram or social media. I'm really happy with people being exposed to crystals, but at the same time, something that I'd like to see people experience is a crystal without purchasing it based on what 3 fun facts of the metaphysical properties say. So like I've had people come into the store and say, well, I'm here for a rose quartz. Well, why? Because I just broke up from this relationship, and my cousin said that, you know, rose quartz is for self-love and it'll help bring me new love into my life. But vibrationally, I hear this tiger eye like, boo, pick me up, you put me in her hand, I want, you know, like it's very connected to her. So in that experience, for example, is her I said, I'm very soft with my introduction because I always want people to know that I honor them and their free will. So are you interested in allowing me to show you something that you may not know? Yes. Okay, cool. Here's this rose quartz. Just hold on to it. Take deep breaths. Let the ego go away and just kind of relax into a feeling space. So by relaxing into that feeling space, she returns back with, I actually don't feel anything. Okay, cool. That's okay. Sometimes you don't. Then the next thing that comes up is, okay, hold this tiger eye for me. Now walk around the store, hold it for 5 minutes, take nice deep breaths, and don't focus on anything. Just kind of shop around and let the energy speak to you. Okay, so she takes the tiger eye and she walks around. She comes back, she goes, this feels really good. This feels really warm. This actually makes me feel very comforted. Okay, cool. Well, now what you've just learned is tiger eye, without knowing anything about it, is speaking to you on an energetic level. And that's the crystal that's going to be what's for your best and highest good. So now she has this tiger eye that she's working with for the relationship. And I know I'm long-winded in this explanation, but if I can dovetail, I have, because I've done a lot of shows and met a lot of different people when it comes to crystals, I have some people who will walk up to me and say, you know, those things don't work. And where did you buy your crystals from? 1, and 2, what were you told about them? Or 3, what did the little piece of paper say? Because either somebody had told you what was going to happen by using that crystal, or you read a piece of paper that you thought that the crystal was going to provide it for you. The first crystal that we always work with is ourself. that's the one that we polish. That's the one that has the power of source to do anything and everything. The crystals that come along are a support system, and yes, they are totally capable of doing things with and for us, but if we put everything on them, especially metaphysical properties, we diminish the full capacity of what they have to bring to the table. Because maybe the rose quartz grounds you, maybe it's the black tourmaline that helps you attract abundance, but if we're only shopping for crystals or working with crystals based on metaphysical properties, it's a whole untouched world that you never get to take part in.
Absolutely, I believe
So
in that.
so in other words, you have to look at other properties other than metaphysicals to pick out what you need.
Well, the biggest thing that I feel, because I've worked with crystals just by interacting with them, and my intuition has kind of preceded that, is like, so this is the technique that I've used because I feel like it's very simple. Start at the front door of the store, take a deep breath, walk through the store, and see what direction calls to you. We're so used to having to live a life where we have things to be responsible for, or we have our thoughts that guide us. So to take a much easier approach is sometimes a whole brand new mental game for some people, or a new emotional game for some people. So to ask somebody to relax sometimes is hard, even though it's so easy. So if you get them in the front door and say, okay, just take a couple deep breaths. If you want, close your eyes. I'll hold your hand. We'll walk around the store. You let me know when you feel like stopping. Because now this takes away this thinking, churning perception that's guiding you to the crystals. Okay, now left, right, front, center. Now we walk up to where it is that you're going to park it. Now put your hands out. Do you feel like going left? Do you feel like going right? Do you feel like dropping down? What do you feel like in these moments? And you break up these moments in very fine experiences. And then as they drop down to pick up their crystal, it's finding a crystal or resonating with a crystal is not necessarily by somebody else picking it out of a basket and putting it in your hand. It's by you looking at the entirety of them in the basket and saying, this one really speaks to me. Why? I don't know, but it also doesn't matter. You don't need the why. All you need to know is that it does. So with that crystal resonating with you when you pick it up, just hold on to it. Take some deep breaths. See how you feel. A lot of working with crystals is feeling based, getting in touch with that intuition and just allowing the crystal to communicate with you. And the more open we are to allowing the experience to be, the more we will benefit from them.
Interesting. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot wants to know, what are your thoughts on Shungite?
Hi, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Thoughts on Shungite? So, I like the clearing properties that it has when it comes to the water that you drink. I know that it's a crystal that's come out. It's been around for a while, but it's as we've moved into a more metaphysical, spiritual chapter of our collective existence, Shungite came out because it clears the water and it's good for clearing the body. I don't work with Shungite too much, but it's not because I don't appreciate it. It's just because I don't feel drawn to it. But I would be interested in knowing what you think about it, and if you work with it, or what is your experience with it?
Interesting. So yes, just like dowsers in their pendulums, each pendulum is hand chosen by vibrations and calls. They're not just picked by beautiful colors, or I think. So yes, it's very interesting.
I feel like one of the biggest things that, like, I talk to my friends or people I work with about is this surrender. And in this surrender is where we pick up the most information possible. So if we're surrendering to a crystal, or we're surrendering to our meditation practice, that's where we can actually have our brain stop talking, stop trying to figure it out, stop telling us what it is, and give us the opportunity to connect to something higher, to be shown and guided what it is. Same thing with the crystals, the being inside of the crystal that will guide you. So, like, starting out with Zenshine, what my main mission was is that I wanted people to have an experience beyond metaphysical properties so that they could have full advantage of the energies that they felt from each one, which is why I'm having a little bit, I don't want to say trouble, because not trouble, but one piece of shungite can be so vastly different than another, even though it has the same metaphysical properties. So when you're working with crystals, it's like people, it's like friends. You know, you have these people that you keep in your close inner circle, and then you have other people that you know, and they walk the world and you never interact with them. So same thing for crystals.
Interesting. Standing Stone says, Teresa, what are your thoughts on my love for citrine and also Italian green sulfur?
So when it comes to citrine, I actually enjoy this little tidbit. So the citrine, majority of it comes from Madagascar, Africa. It's in short supply. It's very rare. So what a lot of people actually know to be citrine is heat-treated amethyst. So is the citrine that you're liking a pale yellow color, or is it more orangey in color?
Interesting.
I guess, I don't really know why it happened in the industry. I know that citrine is expensive, and because of its rarity.
He says gold color.
It's gold color. Gold. So I don't have a piece that I can see in front of me. If you want to message me a picture, my Instagram is Z3N Shine. If you want to send me a picture of it, and then I can tell you if it's heat-treated amethyst or it's genuine citrine. As far as your love for it, depending on which crystal it is that you'd be vibrating with. So sulfur is interesting. So metaphysically speaking, citrines talk about being a happy stone. So the stone of abundance, the stone of happiness. What I find to be interesting, or somewhat amusing even, is when a lot of people have pieces of citrine, they actually have pieces of heat-treated amethyst. And it's amethyst that they're connected to, resonating with. So here these people are reading all the metaphysics of citrine and living with that as their reality, when it really could be that they're resonating strongly with amethyst.
Interesting.
So, yes. And I think amethyst is mostly, this is where I say with metaphysical properties, getting too strongly, kind of messing up the organic relationship between you and a mineral, or you and a crystal, however you'd like to say it, is that amethyst is revered as the stone of peace, of tranquility, of serenity. It helps you sleep, and it helps with insomnia. And if we were only going to go by metaphysical properties alone, then we would be listing that out. But if you are feeling very happy and joyful and because you have a heat-treated amethyst, and you're thinking it's a citrine, and you feel very excited, and look at my new piece of citrine, it makes me feel so alive, and I just attracted finances with it, and I did whatever, but it turns out to be amethyst. You've just actually learned that amethyst has a lot more to offer than what you've been taught.
Interesting. Lucy, she states to you, I carry obsidian in tiger's eye. I feel protected by them.
Okay. I completely understand why you feel protected by them. I got baptized as a Buddhist 13 years ago. And for me, what I've learned as far as energy and vibration, I'll use the word safe as an example. So safe has dual energy into it, meaning that if I say, you take care, get home safe, every time I use the word safe, I'm also inferring that there's something to be safe from, as opposed to just get home. So I say, have a happy ride home, have a joyful ride home. So what some people do when they get crystals for protection is they wind up accidentally attracting things to them that they're trying to avoid. So I'm not denying your ability to feel protected by these crystals, which is fantastic, but what I would say would be the better of the thought. If it resonates with you, please do whatever you want. I'm not instructing you to do anything that's out of your realm of comfort or free will. Is I am the light. Because as we ascend into higher vibrational frequencies and we feel energy of love and we're in a high place, we're the most protected ever because we have all that light around us, and the what is that denser stuff that people want to avoid, that they're using things for protection for.
Oh, and she's gone. Well, come back, Teresa. Come back. Don't go. Hello. Well.
She'll come back.
Yeah.
She's interesting. Very interesting.
Hello, Denise. Welcome. You wasn't the only one that was late tonight. But, yeah, let's give her a second to come back. There she is. All right. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
I do it all the time. You hit just your hand goes on something and you're out. I do it, and then you have to start all over again. I do the same thing every week.
So with that being said, it's, the thing that we want to protect ourselves from, if we know the power of the light, we know that that denser stuff can't reach us in that place because it doesn't vibrate as high. That's what kind of keeps it separated. So I would say if you're getting crystals, get them to enhance your feeling of love and joy, because joy is such a high vibration that actually acts as a more, we'll call it air quotes, protective mechanism than I'm buying this to feel protected from insert names here.
Joy is wonderful.
Agreed.
Joy guides. I have joy guides, and they're the best.
Yeah, joy, love, alignment, any kind of really high positive feeling is that feeling that actually puts you in that space of I'm in a high vibration, and the higher I'm in vibration, the less any of this stuff even interacts with me. So that's my go-to way of dealing with stuff.
Yeah, because a lot of people are always in fear, but I always feel like, the joy guides will take care of you.
Exactly. Any other questions?
Can you work with me? I just want 3 minutes of what you can tell me. I want just anything.
Sure. No, it's not a time thing, so I'm happy to.
We'll give you a little bit of music.
Thank you. I see more of a healing with family stuff with you. The word daughter coming to mind. So daughter, granddaughter, it seems like it's a family line that you're healing through. I actually feel like if I were going to say recommend you crystals, it would be like rhodochrosite, and rose quartz. What I see is there's like a like wanting things to go a certain way and then them not going entirely the way that you would hope for, but trying to make the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just more time on your own than you would appreciate. I feel like there's you have a very strong familial feel to you, and there'd be like a greater sense of happiness or through connection. A lot of your family ties, I feel like, even though you have family, you've had more of a stronger sense of family through your friends than through your actual family.
I've had a more sense of family through what, honey? Through my what?
Through your friends more than your biological family.
Oh, sure.
So that's what I feel. So the biggest thing is that actually, like, that you've done a lot of healing in that regard, and that you're in a good place with it. And now that you've done the healing work in that place, it's like, okay, well, what comes next? And that's the new question. I think a lot of people are in a new chapter of life because the energy is shifting around, and it feels very different now than ever before. So a lot of people are getting this intuitive inner nudging, saying there's a different way to live, or I've come this far in the work that I've done, and now there's this whole brand new big world out there waiting for me. And now what am I going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a trip planned for this year?
No, but I could go on a trip. I work for a fellow, and sometimes we have to go. Sometimes we have to go away that's unexpected.
Does Florida resonate with you for any?
Oh yeah.
Because that's what I'm picking up on. I could see you going to Florida this year, and I see like you having a good relationship with Florida. That it feels very homey to you.
Yeah, I've been to Florida before. I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, I could very easily go to. That's right. Mm-hmm.
I also too feel you like it's a warm place, but you being in the water when it's warm, almost just like that's your happy place, is just go to the beach, get in that warm water with the sand, and just I just see you kind of like scooping the water up and putting it in your arms and on your body, and the sun shining on you, and you're just feeling really satisfied, really happy.
I like water. Yeah,
that's your comfort, but only when it's warm out, because you don't like the cold.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't. Do you have family in Florida?
I don't have family in Florida. I have friends in Florida.
Is there someone who's like a sister to you?
Oh yeah, my girlfriend. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would say you and her getting together and making some kind of plan, because like I said, you're looking for that restart. And do you have a daughter?
I don't have a daughter, but I have a niece.
Okay.
I had a sister I was very, very close to.
Did your niece just have a baby?
No,
Okay.
But I had a cousin who just had a baby.
Because I see like there's like the females in your family. That's why I said earlier to you, it's like, granddaughter, mother, daughter, like that energy is around of like your family. And that's why I said it's like, it's not quite a pain point, but it's wanting to be closer, wanting to have that, like we hang out throughout the week and we have dinner, and you had to get to a place of comfortability where that didn't affect you or make you feel sad in some way, and you finally like come to that point, and now it's like, okay, well, now from where do we go from here?
I was very close to my sister, some relatives, some cousins, and I understand what you're saying, and I'm not around them anymore. A lot of them have passed on. A lot of them, I live out of the area, so yeah, I had to more or less just get used to the way things are, and I am.
Yeah, I could feel that in you, and that's the stuff that you're healing through and with. Angela, you do creative projects like painting?
Honey, I write, and I'm a writer. I write children's stories.
And then do you illustrate them too?
I don't illustrate them, but I used to take art lessons, and my husband always tells me I'm a good artist, and he wants me to pursue that. I do a lot of writing. I do children's writing. I'm trying to get my stories into animation, which has been a really big focus this year, which I finally got my producer, I got my animator, I got a grant money. I feel like I'm in good hands. I do take piano lessons, but I have the itch, I have the yearning to go back and do art. And so even if I could take a class like once a week for a couple of hours, I'm yearning that art in me.
I'm kind of amused at the idea that you want to go take a class, because I don't feel like you necessarily need the class.
I like perspective, but sometimes I draw through automatic writing.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at, is I feel like all these different emotions that are going on in you, and also the way that I was going to say, the next question is that you get messages when you create, and when we have words are great. I am a writer myself, and we rely on words, but illustrations can sometimes speak so much more. So
sometimes my illustrations, they're just like a funny faces, like a funny face with the cowboy hat on. Or it'll be like funny looking people, like cartoonish. But you know what? I think that's my art. As what I'm thinking of lately is that's probably what I'm supposed to draw, and I could kind of emphasize things and color it up. It may look good.
If you would, I see like the sharp black pen lines and then watercolor over them. So you may be overcomplicating your artistic ability, where especially if you have children's books, what I see is that the writing is great. I'm definitely not discounting your writing in the slightest, but the art is what's coming through more, is that you keep giving yourself a reason why you need something in order to kind of set yourself free. And what I'd recommend to you is to get like a sketchbook and just see what comes through, because I could see messages coming through to you as you're drawing, or solutions, little pickles that you've had throughout the year. Suddenly you get clarity on by doing this kind of painting work, and then you get more and more confident. And then I see you moving on to different canvas pieces. But there's a whole untapped part of you that really needs to start doing the artwork, because as much as it's about drawing something tangible for a book or whatever, it's also about self-expression. And there's parts of you that are, it's time for you to see them. It's almost like a form of shadow work mixed with exploring your gifts, because you have all this beautiful love and like a fertility inside that is like ready to be born, but you keep giving yourself a reason why it shouldn't.
Yeah, I guess I want the barn to look like a barn, but you're right. When I do things on my own, it's not like it's really abstract, but it's just different. And I do like working with pencil, and I like the mediums that I work with. It's like very simple stuff. I don't want oils or acrylic. I just want very simple stuff.
Yeah, you don't like messes, so I don't see you working with messy art things. But the most of something that is fluid I see is watercolor. That's why specific. I see pens and pencils, mostly pens. I think that you'd feel there's something about your work where it's, even if you started out with pencil, I don't know if you'd always use it, but what I see is like a rich fine tip black pen, and then dashes of watercolor over it, and that gives you expression. And also too, and I had the same thing with you a while back. I want the barn to look like a barn, but what I see is that really it's more of a channel. It's just calming your mind, opening your mind, getting different paint to paper, and then all of a sudden the messages that don't always make it through because of some kind of block or resistance, they'll start pouring through, because now you're not trying to dictate or control how they come out.
Well, that was helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, a question.
Okay.
And I got the echo on. What crystal attracts a soulmate?
What crystal attracts a soulmate?
Yeah.
This to me is one of those questions that it's exactly like, it makes me feel how the metaphysical properties feel, because every person is at a different place. For example, when we attract relationships to us, or when, we're open to having a child or a particular job, it's not so much about what crystal you pick. It's about picking a crystal that resonates strongly with you. It's your relationship. And the whole soulmate idea or relationship or love idea is really more like, hold on, I'm sorry. I just want to get the thought out clearly. It's on your work. It's on your law of attraction. So if I hypothetically said, I'm working with this person right now, they want to be madly in love in a relationship, but they have a fear of getting their heart broken. I wouldn't so much address their desire to be in a relationship. I would have to address their fear first. So what crystal would be best for the fear? What crystal would make them feel confident or give them the ability to be willing to put themselves out there without the fear holding them back? So I'd say the soulmate is more about what energy you yourself are in, and then who you will attract because of where you are. And the crystal that I would be looking for if I wanted to attract a soulmate is one that put me in a very good relationship with myself.
Interesting. Hopefully that answered their question. I'm not going to mention the name, but that was a good question.
Is there any other questions?
Yes, one more. Missy Hammer, can you perhaps tell me when I'm phasing into I'm floundering?
Oh, okay. So I feel like that floundering feeling is because you're doing things that you think you should do rather doing things that feel comfortable. What I feel is that you don't have a great relationship to yourself. So like you're working a job that you don't like, and that more like doing things because this is what you were taught to do or what you believe that you should do, rather than doing something you enjoy. I feel like, here's like my breakdown of that to answer the question, and I'll try to do it in the shortest way. Us having a great relationship to ourselves is how everything in life comes to us. And to be in a place that we feel good with, it requires us to get into a place of self-awareness, to do the work that we need to do to get into a place of self-awareness. So when it comes to I'm floundering in life, first of all, that's fear. The fear is causing you to worry and stress, and it's more like compound things. So if you took a deep breath right now, Missy, and said, I'm in a really good place. I'm in a really happy, easy place where I have the opportunity to learn my truth about myself. And I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the idea of a high self, but if it were me and I were in this position, I would say, high self, I ask to see my real true self in the high fourth, fifth dimension and above, because I want to see my real self. I want to live and be in my truth. And I may not know what that looks like. And I feel like for a decent amount of people that I have spoken to at this point, they're arriving to this feeling of the need to surrender because their life is dramatically changing. So I would say take a moment, realize that you may feel like it's bigger than you can manage, or that the uncertainty is bigger than you are ready to deal with, but you have to own your power in the situation and allow yourself to understand that you are in a much better place than you even realize. Take a deep breath, surrender to the moment, ask to be guided to show for your truth, for who you really are, to be shown to you, because so much of what we do as people in our society is we have been told who we are, and we don't really get the understanding of we are who we make ourselves to be, or we are a being before we're ever taught who we are, whether that's from family or society and so on. So Missy, what I would say to you is sit back and think about what makes you happy. What would you really enjoy doing with your life? And don't let your ego stop you and tell you that it's not possible or that it can't be done. I would start even doing automatic writing, where you would sit down and just, what brings me joy? What makes me happy? What makes me feel alive? And I've had people do this work and they say, nothing makes me happy. Nothing makes me feel alive. I say, okay, well, what's your reason for living? What's your reason? And we peel it out. You know, some of this work, this is why when I do workshops, I also have one-on-one sessions available, because people, they're trying to understand manifestation, law of attraction, work through something in particular. I may not be able to address the whole thing in a workshop, so we'll peel back and we'll do some one-on-one work and say, well, what are you really trying to do, or what are you trying to accomplish? You know, if you feel like you've lost control, it's because you're in your ego. The ego wants control, and the soul already knows the direction it's going in. So just relax into your life.
Interesting. Last question. Teresa, Do you believe that star signs match up with their crystals?
Again, it's in the realm of the metaphysical properties. I know that people assign certain crystals to certain signs because of energy, but no, I really do feel crystals and the relationship that we have to crystals are solely based on the crystals that resonate with us. The crystals that I use the most are rose quartz, Amazonite, Moldavite. I'm a Scorpio, you know, I'm supposed to have all these very intense stones be in my wheelhouse, but I don't have them. It's every crystal has an energy and a vibration, and it's really about what speaks to you. And I can't expound that enough, you know, when it comes to the relationships that you make with crystals, is that crystals are like siblings. Even if they come from the same country, the same state, the same mother, they are all different. Every piece of a crystal is a completely different energy. So every piece, this is when it comes into the custom work. I could have a basket of 36 pieces of rose quartz, but one of those maybe is going to resonate with Angela. And I'm going to lay all 36 of them out, and we're going to look at them together. And one of them I'm going to jump on, and I'm going to feel intuitively is the one for her, where I'm going to ask her opinion about the one that speaks to her as well. Very often what I find when I work with my clients is that we're picking the same one because that's the one that's speaking. So now this is the one that's in alignment. And I said, just so you have an understanding of what just transpired here, hold this crystal that you just picked up, and I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes and meditate with it for a few minutes and just see what you feel. You don't have to feel anything. We're just exploring the possibility that you might feel something. And then I get feedback. So let's hypothetically say that they felt something and they felt like, I felt this ease, this warmth, like a hug, like a warm blanket wash over me. Great. Now here's this other rose quartz. We're going to pick one that we didn't pick out for you. I'm going to ask you to hold that. Well, it makes me feel good, but it kind of puts me in my head. It kind of makes me think about things like old hurts or some kind of something that doesn't really mesh so well. So then that person for themselves firsthand gets to see, even between two crystals that are exactly the same, you have a completely different experience with them. And that's why I constantly try to open people up. It's about you and the individual crystal. It's not about the metaphysical property, the star sign, the family, whatever, or the ideas around the crystal. It's about you and the crystal and having the experience with the crystal. Sometimes I won't even give them the name or the properties into the crystal. I said, give me your phone number, take this crystal home, meditate with it, sleep with it. I'll see you in 2 weeks, and then I'll tell you all the information about it. And then when you give that experience to somebody and they see, oh, this is how the crystal affected them, here's what the metaphysical property said, now that means more to them.
Ah, makes sense. Now, how does everybody find you and get a hold of you?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, good, Missy. I'm glad. I saw the note she wrote. So I'm on Instagram at Z3N Anybody can message me on there. I do a lot of pop-up shows, or people call me or contact me. So I'm on Instagram every day, and I get all my messages there, and then we'll either talk through that messaging system, or I'll give them my phone number, and then we go from there, with depending on what somebody wants to partake in.
Awesome. It's been fabulous. Yes.
If you don't have Instagram, I also have TikTok, which is Zenshine333, ZENSHINE 333. And then there is my Facebook, which is Teresa Connolly-Saiter.
Awesome. What do you think, Angela?
I think she's great. You're going to come back and visit us again?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh,
Teresa?
sorry. My cat. Hold on a minute. My
And
cat
she's
gone.
gone.
My cat just is. Well,
She whacked herself. But there she is. All right. There you go.
Yeah, so that would be how to find me. I'm on Instagram every day and multiple times a day. So that's the easiest place to find me. So shoot me a message over there, whatever questions, whether it's personal development or crystals. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. It's my passion, and clearly I don't shut up about it.
No, nothing wrong
You
with
have
that.
a good
You've been
voice. I
great.
wish we could see your face. Come on back. You can come back anytime, right? Right, Grizzly?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I very much so appreciate it.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, we got that special edition show tonight at 9 o'clock. Make sure and tune in. And from coast to coast, around the world, that's a wrap. We'll see you on the next show, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
Godspeed.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.